Hey there smartphone fans, welcome back for an honest hands-on review here in Smartphone Wars. And today I want to tell you about my new favorite phone of all time. I'm very passionate to tell you about the Smartisan Nut Pro 2 or U3 Pro. One of the most amazing devices I've ever laid my hands on in terms of hardware and especially software alike. This is one of those rare phones you don't get to see very often, where the inventors actually took a risk to create a bold new design, a new interface that is still Android but feels, looks and handles a lot different. First, let's take a look at what's inside the Smartisan Nut 2 box. And we'll start with the 3.5mm headphone jack converted to USB Type-C, because this phone does not have a headphone jack. Deal with it, most phones don't. A USB Type-C cable, standard USB Type-C cable, and a quick charge 3.0 charger, which charges the entire battery in around an hour and a half. That's a 3500 mAh battery, and you get a quick charge 3.0 charger from Qualcomm. And you probably guessed, yes, this does have a Qualcomm CPU inside, but that's not only. It's a 5.99 Full HD plus 18:9 aspect ratio infinity display, or full display as you want to call it, new type standard display phone we're talking about here, and it's running Smartisan OS 4.04 on top of Android 7.1.1 Nougat. And now let me tell you more about the technical side, because this is not a gimmick phone. This is a fully fledged flagship device, or perhaps a flagship killer one. This is powered by the Snapdragon 660, which is a fabulous chip, 6 GB of RAM, massive 128 GB of onboard storage, and it has one of the best front and back cameras I've ever seen in a sub $400 phone, along with 6 GB of RAM, all the sensors you need, and USB Type-C. And as well as you can guess, benchmark scores are pretty darn good, almost on par with the Snapdragon 821, as it costs around 140,000 in 227. So this is not a slow phone, not a gimmick phone by any means. And yes, thanks to that Snapdragon 660, you can play the latest and heaviest 3D titles on the Android Play Store without any issues. We're talking about new Final Fantasy Pocket Edition, Shadow Fight 3, all on the highest settings with the highest graphics fidelity possible, which is very close to what the previous generation of consoles were capable of. Especially games like the World War Heroes you're seeing here is a fantastically looking online FPS shooter. Is close to Battlefield level on the PC on Android store, and the phone does have 128 GB of storage but does not have an external microSD card slot, so you only get 2 nano SIM cards and you can expand the 128 GB of storage. I'll let it live with that. And of course, Snapdragon is a marvelous GPS phone, locking a quick signal from inside my house, and it's an international version, so it should work in the US and Canada, Asia, Europe, and it does also support voice over LTE or VoLTE as well. And the phone also comes with the latest face recognition technology, and the camera is very good on the center, and it looks better than most phones I've tested. Still not on par with Honor View 10, but very good. And that back T logo is not just for show, it's also a fingerprint scanner. But now on to the cameras. This phone has one of the best cameras below $400, period. The front camera is 16 megapixel and the back camera is 2 cameras, one a 12 megapixel Sony IMX386 with an additional 5 megapixel camera with super large 1.4 micron pixel size to help with low light shooting and with the bokeh effect. What really sets it apart here is that the main rear camera has optical image stabilization, which is really nice for video, as you see later on, and for low light photos. The phone can record 4K videos as well. But we'll start with the front camera, which for me is absolutely excellent at this price point. Very detailed quality selfies, very good dynamic range. Even when light is in front of it, against it, no problem. Even in low light selfies, the camera handles very well. So one of the top selfie cameras you can get below $400 right now. But let's talk to the main camera. First of all, the camera UI on this phone is outstanding. It does have one of the best manual modes I've ever seen, because when you choose to have manual focus, every time you switch it, it automatically zooms in so you can see how accurate your manual focus settings are. I've not seen any other phone do that, and this is how manual focus should be done. Samsung, whoever you're watching, just learn from Smartisan. Smartisan appears to be very smart. Wait till I get to the actual user interface. But now back to the cameras. Optical stabilization, high-grade Sony sensor, phase detection, autofocus, large pixel size, amazing photos. Still moving objects, absolutely no problem with huge amounts of detail. If you have enough sunlight available, the camera is as good as any flagship device on the market. It only fails to be the latest and best flagship camera devices like the Samsung S8, Note 8 and Mate 10, but only in like really low light situations, because the camera really does great in indoor shots, outdoor shots and well lit areas. Even low light shots like this tiny picture of my little baby boy Boyan here and his moving hand have all been captured great by the Smartisan Nut Pro. Video quality on this phone is great, almost cinemascope quality, great noise cancellation and optical stabilization really delivers a smooth video experience here. Even indoor shots are still very good when it comes to detail, light and stabilization. The phone also has time-lapse and slow motion feature, which are not the best in class, but is certainly very nice. And next we'll talk about the sound quality, because the Smartisan Nut Pro has great sound quality, especially the speakers. Now let's move on to build quality. The Smartisan Nut Pro is one of the best built and lightest devices I have ever tested. A perfect combination of glass and metal to weigh just 150 grams, as light as a Samsung S8, and the build quality is really nice on this phone. It reminds me of the Honor 6 and the Honor 6 Plus I used to have back in the day. Same type of great build device you're seeing here. And now I want to really lure you into the Smartisan OS, which I think is one of the coolest, most innovative and interesting ways to work with your Android device. Now, first of all, if you're very conservative, because I know most of you are about your Android experience, Smartisan have thought about you and they've decided to include a stock Android launcher as well as their Smartisan launcher, which I'll be talking about later on. And that's why this video is so long, because the Smartisan launcher is absolutely bombarded with features and new and cool ways to do stuff that you've always thought could be better, but nobody has done it until Smartisan actually. And it's nice that all these features, they're into the stock Android ROM as well, so a stock Android launcher. So if you want to use stock Android launcher, you can. Smartisan have really thought about you and your user experience, and this is what the phone really is for, and why this review took me so long to do. And that's why this review is a bit longer, because I practically had to learn to use the phone all over again thanks to the Smartisan OS, but it was damn well worth it, because it's one of the finest operating systems I've ever seen built in terms of intuitiveness and like user interface and ease of use. And it also has amazing customization options like free wallpapers and themes which are really high quality, and they're all free. That's right, Xiaomi, that's right, everybody else. Everything in the store is free, as it should be. You're paying premium dollars for this phone. First off, we'll start with your notification and your toggle screen. Your toggle screen is open from your recent app screen, and the notification shade is only for notifications, but I think you've seen that in other Chinese phones as well. This phone comes with an international ROM, and it has Google services installed, and even Google Assistant is fully integrated and working into the system, and in English, not in Chinese. Now, so this is your home screen most of the time. This is what you're seeing here is one of the top features of the Smartisan OS, and it's called One Step. It basically is a sidebar on all sides, which lets you access to a lot of cool things like your recent photos, files, clipboards, and you can put on the sides the apps you use all the time, some contacts for messaging, for emails, and it makes multitasking to a whole new level, because you don't even need to hit the multitasking key. Every app you want is in there, and you can just switch between them by pressing on the side. And I have to show, this makes multitasking so much more quicker. But yeah, sure, if you want to, you can still use the regular multitasking window, but I'm assuming you won't have to, because you find out the sidebar is much quicker. But not all the functions are really fully integrated. This is the first Smartisan international ROM, but I'll get that a bit later. First of all, the sidebar, you can add any app you want to it on the side, games, anything you want. You can also add some like email contacts, as I said, some messaging contacts, and you can rearrange the order in any way you like, so it's easier for you to access with your thumb, depending on, you know, your left or right hand, because you can move the sidebar on your left and your right as well. And what's really important is the sharing shortcuts. That's right, these are apps you want to share some stuff with, and this will actually come a lot of handy, because this is the best feature of the Smartisan OS. Basically, you can take any like text, picture or anything and just drag it to the side, and it will automatically show those sharing apps. And just took a photo, you're browsing through your photos from your gallery, or I want to upload that to Instagram, just hold it, slide it, and slide it up to Instagram, and it's there. See it next, you want to copy to a friend, just hold the button, drag the word to the messenger, and it will automatically, or like the Gmail or Instagram. Or you can use the other function, which is the idea pills. That's right, this is the second great feature that's having been introduced here with the Smartisan OS, and this is for taking notes and your to-do lists and stuff like that. That's what the button on your left, the single button on your left, is for. Press it once and it opens the idea pills menu on your right side of the screen, and you can have it in different colors for notes, for important things, for to-do lists. Hold it and you can record even a small memo or do a voice. So it's really comfortable. This phone is meant for all those people on the go who are constantly, you know, having to write stuff down, arrange meetings. This is an absolutely incredibly useful tool. And last but not least is what is called the Big Bang. This is nothing to do with the Big Bang Theory and Sheldon, by the way. This is a text grabbing feature, I might call it. So what it does is you have a text that you want to highlight, and when you press your thumb to it, yes, this actually recognizes your thumb press from your regular press, and it basically just tears it down into words, which you can then remodel, redesign, send to a friend, or you can actually pick random words or like a structured new sentence from those words and have it Google searched or Wikipedia search or translated using Google Translate. All these features may seem a bit too much for you, but I want you to know, if you're like a very busy person like I am and you have to constantly write things down, and a few clicks here and there saves you a lot of time, Smartisan have actually thought about these kind of people, like artists, creators, businessmen, and they've built all these lovely features for them. But unfortunately, since this is their first international ROM, all these features are really not working 100% still. And now we've come to the bad things about the Smartisan Nut Pro. First of all, for some reason Smartisan have sent me an auto update for the Chinese version of this phone, which I can download, but once I do download and start to install, I get an error that this auto update is for the Chinese version and not for the international version, which is a pity, and I don't know if Smartisan actually send me a real auto soon, because this software needs work. As sometimes apps and functions will like randomly freeze for 5-6 seconds and then open. Some of the features from the sidebar tools are still only meant for Chinese, like the font and word lookup features as well. And I couldn't change any permissions in my applications, which was a pity, but still not a deal breaker in my books. And there's still some untranslated stuff in Chinese in this ROM as well. So I actually very hoping that Smartisan send me an update. Oh, and I couldn't find any battery stats on this phone in the menu. There like really isn't any like actual battery usage stats which I could share with you, but trust me, the battery life was pretty good. I got around a day and a half, 2 days with moderate to heavy usage on this phone, so battery life is really on par with any of the Snapdragon 660 devices. So the Smartisan Nut 2 Pro offers a lot of bang for the buck. Great specs, great cameras, great battery life, and an amazing new operating system style, especially meant for creators and people on the go, always taking notes, always writing stuff down, and really easy with multitasking, which is far easier with the new sidebar. But there's still some bugs in the software, and I do hope they update the international version soon. So this has been it for my Smartisan Nut 2 Pro review. You can buy the phone from the link in the description below, give the video a thumbs up if you like it, and share it so that your friends can enjoy it as well.